So, as we were driving just now on a Saturday evening, I've decided to go to work late. My woman here is the designated driver, and we are on a long drive.
On a road trip, kind of.
Yeah, mini adventure
Yeah.
to pick up some clothes for this little traditional South Indian celebration we're heading to tomorrow, known as, do you remember what it's called?
Oh, Onam.
Exactly.
You know? Onam.
Onam, yeah. And on the way, we just started discussing about how I recently read this article written by this woman it's Caitlyn something. It's not Caitlyn Jenner. It's and she was talking about how a lot of women, listen to this, right? A lot of women, how they have this psychological like hindrance, or like a kind of like psychologically disabled, but it's not so obvious because they're living a normal life. They're like every other woman. They're young, they're full of energy, they're living their life, enjoying, you know what I mean? They all have like career, or they're like studying, whatever. But a lot of these young women under the age of 25, this lady was talking about how they have this disorder where when they get into a relationship with a man, and basically in a relationship when they have a boyfriend or whatever, and they get into like this like state where they want to be treated abusively, or they want to be like, they want the men to be mean to them and like boss them around and just like be sort of abusive. But then again, the lady says like there is a limit to that as well, because a lot of these girls that she's spoken with, because she's a psychologist, they've come to her office, and some of them came to her with cases where it went overboard with the guys, and the guys thought, as human beings, when we allow somebody else, we give them basically the permission that, okay, you can treat me like a fucking, like a doormat, and step all over me. And then as human beings, it's in our nature, it's biological, you care less about that person, and you just treat them like shit. You respect them less because you yourself see that person has no self-respect for them. Now, don't get me wrong here, I'm not talking about these women particularly, but the disorder itself, the psychological disorder itself, how it conditions these young women to act in such a way where they desire men to treat them like shit, and it's a turn on for them as well, sexually and emotionally. And from a guy's perspective, I just find it really weird, because I don't think I could be with someone like that, because I respect and love myself. And if somebody comes into my life, a woman, and goes, hey, listen, Maharaja, I want you to treat me like a piece of shit. I want you to treat me like so and so, even though it's gonna be going against my nature of the person that I really am, or how I really normally treat women. But they actually want me to be that way just for their own gain, so they can feed their own emotional and sexual desire. Because they just, I don't know, weirdly just enjoy being talked shit at, or like, you know, it comes from a mindset of like hierarchy of, oops, the oil is running out, warning. Hierarchy of like, it's called the carrot and stick rule. This is what the lady was talking about, something along these lines. It was like, so because these women had past psychologically damaged relationships, whether when they were before puberty or after they hit puberty, whether it was with their dad or with their partners, like boyfriends in college or, you know, high school, as they grew older, they had all these experiences where, you know, they were treated in such a way that, you know, they wouldn't get affection or unconditional love unless or until, you know, these men treated them in a certain way. And these men were, don't get me wrong, I'm not supporting them, they're fucking assholes, they have their own fucking issues. They come from a background where, you know, they probably have damaged childhood, you know, daddy issues, these guys, and whatever issues they have, and they put it on with the you know, put it on the next woman they're with, you know, or their girlfriend or their whatever, because, you know, in the hierarchy of male and female, the women tend to be far more feminine and soft and, you know, girly and you know, easygoing, right?
Not always.
Not always, but
Tend to be.
yeah.
Or more than not.
Not
But
what?
There's many exceptions.
Yeah, and this is where it's like a contradiction right here. Like, if women, you know, like you, they say that they don't they don't want to, you know, they don't like to be dominated or, you know, treated in such a way, in a negative way, which is not really nice in the eyes of society, not acceptable, then why do they, you know, put themselves in such positions, you know?
So like you said, it's a disorder, but you didn't finish your thought. You were saying they ask to be treated this way, they choose to be treated this way, that's what they want. And you said even though it goes against your values, and you didn't finish your thought. So what do you mean? Even though it goes against your values, if that's what the woman wants, you will still do it, or you won't?
Of course not. I'm not gonna fucking do it.
Because
I don't want to fucking end up in jail. I don't want to fucking be jail bait. I'm
So
already
it's for
fucking, you know, I'm Asian, you know. We have a
So-
bad historical reputation. But anyways, that was as a joke. But seriously, I'm a person, I'm an individual who believes in, you know, human rights, and you know, everyone has equal rights, whether you're gay, bi, or, you know, you decided to have a sex change, you're a man now, you're a woman once upon a time, or, you know, whatever, vice versa. I don't give a fuck. As long as you're a living, breathing human being, I can communicate with you, you understand me, I understand you, we can communicate. And you're asking me to do something that's like, it doesn't make sense to me, it's just not natural to me, then I'm not gonna fucking do it, no matter how fucking hot you are or how much you're trying to seduce me. It's not gonna work. So my question is to you, as a woman, as a young, independent, successful woman, beautiful, gorgeous, free, intelligent, a fresh graduate. My question is, healthy. My question is, what is your perspective regarding this scenario that I just shared with the world and yourself?
That's a very nice introduction, Shukriya, of me.
You're welcome.
I've never heard of such a thing, like a disorder. Is she defining this as a disorder? Is it a real existing disorder, or she's just explaining her experience with patients? Because I'm confused. What you said, it's a psychological disorder. So is it an existing, like approved, existing, medically
medically proven?
Yeah,
She didn't really explain that because it was a really short article.
Okay.
But then she did say that it's a psychological disorder. There are countless amount of cases being recorded around the United States. That's where she's from, all over the world. And people, like, after she's actually written the article, actually before she wrote the article, she actually wrote a book, and it was a short titled book. I forgot what it's called, but she wrote about it was I think about women's sexual fantasies, and so she believes personally, as a psychologist or as a practitioner, that it's that's what she wrote in her article, that it's a psychological disorder, and there's countless cases, and herself being a woman, she's very concerned, and she just wanted to share it with the world.
So isn't this disorder called daddy issues?
Yeah, I think that's the stereotypical, like, in our society, that's like the name,
Well, what
cliche.
what our society defines as daddy issues, when we describe this behavior as daddy issues, I think that's what she's describing. Obviously, that's not the name of the disorder, but when we say daddy
imagine
issues,
we have found a new disorder. It's called daddy issues.
The DSM-5 or whichever book it is, that is the psychology.
Oh, there is a book about it?
Mental disorders.
So it is a mental disorder. So she wasn't talking shit then.
Well, maybe something like that exists. I don't know the name of it, but I'm saying the DSM is a book of disorders, mental disorders, and the names, and it has, let's say it has schizophrenia, and it will have 5 points, and that are the symptoms, and if you have, let's say, 4 of the 5 symptoms, I don't know exactly for schizophrenia how many it is, or 3 of the 5, that means you will be defined as schizophrenic, the medical term schizophrenic. So it's a big book, and it has just all the names of the disorders, the characteristics, and that's what psychologists, psychiatrists, that's the book that psychiatrists use to diagnose people, what kind of mental disorder they might
symptoms
have.
So what, it actually says some disorder regarding, like, and what is it termed as, daddy issue?
Well, usually when you describe that kind of behavior, from my experience of what I've learned, it's usually something to do with poor attachment, like attachment issues from an early age. So usually a baby and a child form that bond, the attachment bond, when they're tiny. They have the skin to skin contact, the breastfeeding, if a woman breastfeeds.
So they have this with their mother, not their so why is it called daddy issue?
No, both. I'm just describing one part of it.
Go on.
I think up to the age of 3, I believe, I hope that's not wrong. Which way are we going? This way, yeah. I think up to the age of 3, if a child doesn't form a good bond with both of their parents, then it's much more likely that at an older age they will have issues like this. So usually up to the age of 3, because that's when they're really forming their personality, learning what they like, what they don't like, even from food to clothes to what activities they like. Do they like to have a bath? Do they like to go and play? Do they prefer to sit and read a story? The simplest things like these, and their parents' support, that's what forms the attachment, the bond. So that's why, for example, why are kids who are adopted or raised in orphanages, why do they have more issues? It's usually not because the orphanage doesn't treat them correctly. it's because they never had that father or mother figure to form the bond with, the attachment. So I think that's where most of it stems from, attachment issues. So mummy issues, daddy issues.
So it develops from early childhood, like.
Well, according to the I don't remember what the disorder is called, but according to the broken attachments, when they're still a child, it's still that's the only thing you know. So they might be fine as a child, but then these issues arise in early adulthood, and then adulthood when they're teenagers. That's when, let's say, I think at the age when you start to form closer relationships, so like boyfriends, girlfriends, like your first relationship, because you never had that close relationship, loving relationship with your parents, you don't know how to properly love and treat another person. You don't know how it feels to be loved. You don't know how it feels for someone to embrace you. And so it's something that of course can be learned, and maybe if not your parents, maybe another family member taught you that, like your grandparents. It doesn't necessarily mean if your parents treated you it doesn't not necessarily badly, but they didn't give you enough love. Maybe your grandparents did, so, or another family member. But still, that attachment, the bond is crucial in an early age, because then it's not guaranteed that the person is going to have these issues, but it's very likely, more likely than a person who grew up healthy relationship with their parents, loving relationship, is just more likely. Not 100% of the time.
Do you know that song? Din 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 din. How does it go? Love is all we need. Love, love, love makes the world go round. I don't know. I forgot the fucking lyrics. But you yourself, you have a degree in undergrad in psychology, right? And from a woman who holds a degree in psychology, my question is, what would you do when you come in contact with a woman? Let's say you befriend a woman, right, who has such issues. How would you deal with her when as you befriend that person, you get close, and they tell you about their relationship status, the type of guys they like, or
Now I don't think I would find myself in a situation of being friends with someone like that, because I wouldn't be able to form that connection with someone like that. I don't mean that I'd push
but
them
what if
away,
you didn't know this until it's too late? Like, you've had a really close friendship for like a year. It's really subtle though, this lady was talking about it. It's only the ones that usually are in a relationship with that person, they are the one who usually finds out first.
But I think with women, if you are, like you said, close, if you are close friends with a woman, you're aware of each other's relationship, even if you don't openly speak about it. You'll see, if you're good friends with a woman, it's very likely that you will see their partner and who they're with. So I don't think it's something that's so subtle between women as friends. But I mean, I just don't see myself now connecting with that type of person and that becoming a friendship. I had a friend like that before.
Yeah.
But at that time I was really young. I was 16, 17. So I couldn't...
Oh, you actually experienced a friendship like that?
Yeah. Very broken person who... I mean, not to that point where they want to be completely punished and beaten.
Oof.
But they will just let...
Sexy.
They will just let men treat them like trash, continuously.
And
the man.
Did they actually tell you that, or did it turn them on? Made them feel some type of way, or oh yeah, I love that.
No, but
when the guy talks to me that,
No,
turns me on.
No, like I said, we were young. It wasn't that open, but I could tell from, you're still there. You're still seeing these people. You're still, experiencing this again and again, and you're not running away, you're not trying to escape from that, so clearly you're embracing it, so something must be. And then eventually that friendship just deteriorated. I don't know if it's because of that. Differences, I guess. Differences, we just couldn't connect anymore. But I mean, it wasn't to that extreme level like you say. I couldn't say, oh, she had this disorder of wanting to be punished by a man. No, it wasn't that, that intense. But still,
So what you're saying is that would you actually not befriend someone with some psychological disorder such as this one?
No, not purposely. I mean, I don't think...
Why is that? Because you're afraid of...
I said no, I would.
You wouldn't?
I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Okay. And is that because you are afraid of being influenced by their lifestyle or their disorder, or it affecting you in some sort of way?
No, I think just naturally once we meet, even if I am unaware of their issues, I think naturally we just wouldn't end up having that much in common to have a good conversation and become friends. I just think it wouldn't lead to friendship.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I mean, if I knew, let's say I met a woman and I knew from like mutual friends that, this is what has happened to her. I wouldn't like, okay, I'm gonna stay away from this person. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I just wanted to hear your perspective regarding this topic. We're not pointing fingers at anyone with this if you're listening to this when it's uploaded. If you do have this disorder, or whatever the fuck you're into, dominatrix or whatever the fuck, it's your personal choice, it's your life. Go for what makes you happy, end of the day. And you don't have to answer to anyone, but I thought there was a very interesting discussion we had to have.
Definitely.
And thank you very much for sharing your insights and your expertise through the psychological degree that you have achieved and experienced with us, myself, and the world of social media.
That was an interesting topic.
And it was quick as well. It's exactly 22 minutes and 20 seconds.
We gotta go.
We have arrived to our destination, ladies and gentlemen.
First destination.
Oh, there's another one. I forget. And let's continue this some other time. We haven't done a podcast in a while. And this was a good start. And it was random. Off our heads. Random as fuck. Make sure to like, subscribe, dislike, talk shit in the comment section, hate, or whatever the fuck you want.
Hate,
love,
debate.
yes, and share and spread the love. Boom shakalaka.